general point is to affect broader financial conditions, and broader financial conditions then affect the economy, the real economy, in ways that we broadly understand. But so we don't target any one financial condition. We look at broader financial conditions. So it's very hard to draw a direct line from one particular thing like higher bond yields to what monetary policy should do. So the first thing you would look at, though, is you'd look for
Está diciendo
persistent
Powell que
changes.
no se debe
Even
relacionar
then, and so
directamente
then the question
la
is, and
curva del bono
Gita
con el
touched
tipo
on
de
this
interés, porque hay
appropriately,
muchas
which is
otras cuestiones que
why
inciden.
are longer run rates going up? And it really, the reason they're going up really matters, so we have to factor that in. So it's something we're looking at. We're certainly not going to ignore a significant tightening in financial conditions through that channel, but we don't have to decide. We're moving carefully now. We've moved very fast, and rates are now restrictive, and so we're going to be looking at this question, and not something we're trying to make a decision on right now. In terms of, I take your question to be, why are long rates higher? I think there are many candidate explanations, and 5 or 6 of them, it's easy to get to a half dozen explanations. I think we really don't know. I think one thing to point out, though, is people are experiencing these higher rates are actually affecting people's mortgages. The costs of all their floating rate debt is being affected. So it's having an effect on the economy. That the standard thinking has been that this was largely about term premium. Then the question is, why term premium? I don't want to try to dive into all of that today, but it's something we're looking at carefully and just seeing. In terms of you mentioned over tightening, but how are we thinking? So I would just go back at the beginning. Really, the question was to move as fast as we could. As I went through with the chronology, in early 2022, it became obvious that we needed to tighten policy as quickly as we could, and also at a reasonable pace. So we did, and that was the main thing, was speed. The second question was going to be how high to go. And we're still on that question. We're still on the question of a policy stance that's sufficiently restrictive to bring inflation down to 2% over time. The next question will be how long to keep rates restrictive. And so we're looking at, there is no magic to it. We're looking at the incoming data, of course, but really we're looking at the implications for the outlook. It's really what are we learning about the outlook, the balance of risks, and all those things. And we're trying to make a judgment at this point whether we need to do more. And as I said, we did move very quickly. The speed is no longer, the main thing. The main thing now is to try to get to that right level. Of course, we don't want to go too far, but at the same time, we know the biggest mistake we could make would be to fail to get inflation under control. So that's not going to happen. We will keep at this until we succeed. So moving carefully and looking at all the evidence and trying to make smart decisions on behalf of the public.
Let's go in the front here, sir.
Thank you. I'm Charlie Kimball with the Korea Center for International Finance. Both in the United States and presumably in Israel, in 2020, fiscal policy and monetary policy were in line. And now they seem to be at cross purposes. That is, we have very easy fiscal policy here and presumably in Israel. Does that mean that the real rate of interest that you should aim for should be
Bueno, preguntan ahora con cierta pausa y cautela, la verdad, lo que está ocurriendo sobre el asunto de los bonos. La pregunta que se hacía y sobre si van a subir más los tipos de interés, reseñable y remarcable lo que estaba diciendo el propio Powell. De momento no hemos tomado una decisión. Incluso preguntado sobre si van a volver a subir los tipos de interés, de momento no hemos tomado una decisión, decía Powell. No nos marcamos la obligatoriedad de seguir para nada una línea en el bono, ni pensamos que haya que subir o bajar por decreto. Viene a decir Powell en ese data a data que siempre comenta que todavía no se ha tomado de verdad esa decisión de cara a la próxima reunión y que no se sabe si van a subirlos incluso. O sea que existe esa posibilidad de que incluso esa resiliencia económica de la que habla en Estados Unidos permita que el propio Powell decida no solo que no ha llegado el momento de bajar y que se quedan en la pausa, sino que van a hacer una nueva subida en los tipos de interés. Enseguida vamos a mirar también a la reacción de los mercados a estas palabras, porque evidentemente lo que deja Powell, y además lo hace claramente, es la puerta abierta a una posible subida de tipos de interés. No hemos tomado, dice el presidente de la Reserva Federal, una decisión al respecto. Volvemos hasta allí. Responde ahora a la pregunta el presidente del Banco Central de Israel, el señor Amir Yaron. Insisto, por cierto, si se incorporan ahora, que ha habido un boicot a todo esto al inicio por parte de activistas pro-palestinos.
Responsible fiscal position. And I believe that if we do that, while the debt to GDP of Israel will go up for a while, the fiscal position